Amara's fingers trembled the first time she posted her picture online. It was a simple photo. She stood beside a wall painted yellow and blue, wearing her favorite dress. Her smile was wide, but behind it was nervousness. Would anyone even care? By evening, 10 people had liked her post. 10 strangers who didn't know her, yet somehow made her heart race. She felt seen. That night, as she lay on her small bed under a noisy ceiling fan, she whispered to herself, maybe this is how it begins. Every day after work, Amara went looking for perfect spots. She stood near flower shops, beside taxis, and at beaches, taking photos with her borrowed phone. She learned how to pose, how to tilt her chin, and how to write words that sounded inspiring. "Smile through the storm," she would caption, even when she was tired and hungry. Her friends at the shop laughed at her. "You think people care about your pictures?" asked Ngozi, her co-worker. Amara only smiled. "They will," she said softly. Days turned into weeks. The likes grew, 50, 100, then more. People began to comment, calling her beautiful, bold, and confident. Some asked what she used for her glowing skin. She laughed quietly, thinking of the cheap soap she bought at the market. Soon, people started to recognize her in the streets. "Look, it's Amara the Bright," children shouted. Market women smiled and waved. The attention made her feel powerful. When she posted, she waited eagerly for her phone to light up with hearts and comments. Each sound made her feel alive. But as her page grew, something inside her began to change. She no longer laughed with her co-workers. She stopped helping her mother in the evenings, saying she was too busy editing. Her best friend, Kemi, noticed it first. "You're not the same," she said one evening as they sat by the roadside. "You talk like you're living in another world." Amara brushed her off. "You don't understand," she replied. "I have to keep posting. People expect to see me happy. They want brightness, not truth." She didn't see how her phone had become her master. Every moment had to be recorded, every smile, every meal, every walk. When her phone's screen cracked, she panicked as if she had lost a piece of herself. Then one day she met a young man named Tund who worked as a photographer. He admired her page and offered to take her pictures professionally. "You have potential," he said. "But if you want to grow, you need to look bigger, wear better clothes, show a richer life." Amara hesitated. "But I can't afford that," she said. Tund smiled. "Then borrow. Everyone does it. Just make them believe." So she did. She borrowed a friend's handbag, stood beside a car that wasn't hers, and took pictures in front of fancy restaurants where she never ate. The likes doubled. The comments overflowed with admiration. People called her the rising star of Lagos. But at night, when she washed her face in her small room, she saw a stranger in the mirror, someone chasing shadows. Still she couldn't stop. Her mother began to worry. "You come home late, you don't eat, you don't sleep. What is this life?" she asked. Amara smiled weakly. "It's just for now, Mama. When I become famous, everything will change." But fame came with a price she didn't see coming. The more people watched her, the more she had to pretend. When she didn't post for a day, people messaged, "Are you okay?" When she smiled too much, they asked, "Is this fake?" Every move became a performance. One night, her phone buzzed nonstop. A big influencer had shared her post. Her followers tripled overnight. Her joy was wild and unstoppable. She danced around her room screaming, "I made it! I finally made it!" Yet when she looked around, she realized no one was there to celebrate with her. Not Kemi, not her mother, not even Ngozi. Just her, and her phone glowing cold in the dark. And for the first time, the sound of notifications felt lonely. That night, as the city lights flickered through her window, Amara sat quietly and scrolled through her own posts. In every picture she looked happy, but she could no longer remember how that happiness had felt in real life. She whispered to herself, "If only they knew who I really am." And deep down she began to wonder, had she created a beautiful lie, or had the lie created her? The city of Lagos seemed to glow brighter with every post she made. Amara's face appeared on screens across town, in salons, on phones, in small stores where people whispered her name with admiration. "That's her," they said. "Amara the Bright, the girl who became famous from nothing." At first it felt like a dream. Her inbox filled with messages from local brands offering free clothes and makeup. "We love your energy," one message read. "Wear our dress and tag us." For Amara it was magic. She no longer had to imagine the life of influencers, she was becoming one. Each morning she planned her posts carefully. She took pictures near bright walls, on rooftops, or by the ocean where the sunlight kissed her face. Sometimes she'd wake before dawn, painting her lips red and styling her hair before the first light appeared. Her phone became her world. Every time it buzzed, she smiled. The likes, the comments, they made her feel alive. "Queen," one follower wrote. "You inspire me," said another. But the more attention she got, the more she needed to give. When her friends invited her to hang out, she refused. "I have a shoot," she would say. "Maybe next time." When her mother asked her to help at home, she'd reply without looking up, "Mama, I'm busy editing." Her closest friend, Ngozi, began to worry. One evening she met Amara at a small cafe. "You are glowing on the screen," Ngozi said gently, "but when was the last time you laughed for real?" Amara smiled, but her eyes looked tired. "This is what I worked for," she said. "I can't stop now." Ngozi sighed. "But you don't look happy, Amara. You look trapped." Amara shook her head. "You wouldn't understand. People expect me to be perfect. They need me to be strong, to be happy. I can't disappoint them." She didn't realize that she was no longer living for herself. She was living for strangers. Her followers grew into tens of thousands. Some adored her, others envied her. People she'd never met sent her messages asking for advice, for beauty tips, for secrets to happiness. But Amara had no secrets, only filters and good lighting. To keep up with the image, she began buying things she couldn't afford: shiny heels, fancy perfumes, even renting a luxury car for photos. "They must never see the real me," she told herself. "They must see success." But behind the pictures she was tired. Her eyes burned from late-night editing. She stopped eating regularly. Her laughter became forced. Still, every morning she posted another perfect smile. Tund, the photographer who had once helped her, started noticing the change too. "You look different," he said one day after a photo session. "Not bad different, just lost." Amara laughed softly. "Lost? I'm everywhere, Tund. My face is known in Lagos, Abuja, even Accra." He frowned. "Yes, but where are you in all this?" She didn't answer. Weeks passed and invitations poured in. Events, parties, brand launches, everyone wanted her presence. Flashing cameras followed her every step. She loved the noise, the music, the attention. But when she returned home, her small room felt emptier than ever. She would sit on her bed, scrolling through pictures of herself, smiling, shining, and whisper, "Is this really me?" One night, during a rooftop party, a popular influencer named Saad approached her. "You're doing well," Saad said. "But let me give you advice. Never stop posting. People forget fast. If you rest, they move to the next star." Amara nodded, trying to look confident, but inside she felt a sudden wave of fear. "Forget me?" she thought. "No. I can't let that happen." The next morning she woke up early and took dozens of photos, posting 3 in one day. The likes came fast, but so did exhaustion. Her phone became her mirror. She couldn't look at herself without it. When it ran out of battery, she felt panic, as if her identity had vanished. Ngozi noticed the distance growing between them. She tried calling, but Amara never answered. "She's too busy being perfect," Ngozi muttered sadly. Then one day Amara looked at an old photo, one from before the fame, before the followers. Her smile was different there, soft, real, simple. She stared at it for a long time. "I miss her," she whispered. But as quickly as the thought came, she pushed it away. "No," she told herself. "This is who I am now. This is success." That night, she went to a big influencer event, surrounded by people dressed in glitter and smiles. Cameras flashed, laughter filled the air. Yet as she stood among them, she felt invisible. Everyone was busy capturing moments, no one was living them. She lifted her phone, pointed it at herself, and smiled. The flash blinked, a bright, beautiful light captured forever. Her followers would see the picture and say, "She's living her dream." But only Amara knew, the more her followers saw her shine, the more her own light faded inside. The weeks rolled by and the noise around Amara only grew louder. Her life now revolved around her phone, the glowing screen that seemed to control her every move. She woke up before dawn to check her notifications, sometimes smiling, sometimes frowning when the numbers weren't high enough. Breakfasts went cold, calls from her family went unanswered. Everything that didn't exist online stopped mattering. Each day followed the same rhythm: take photos, edit, post, reply, repeat. She had become a full-time character in her own digital story. Her house turned into a studio, clothes on chairs, lights by the window, mirrors covered in sticky notes that read, "Stay relevant," and "Smile big." At first she told herself it was worth it. The gifts kept coming, her name appeared in magazines, and she was invited to talk about success at events. But behind every new smile was a growing weight, the fear that it could all disappear. Her followers began to change. They no longer praised her like before. Comments became colder, sharper. "You look tired," one person wrote. "Why are your outfits not as good as Sada's?" another said. Some even unfollowed her quietly. Amara read every word. Each one felt like a tiny wound. She started posting more, brighter makeup, louder captions, anything to win them back. But no matter how much she gave, the love she received began to feel smaller. Her friend Ngozi noticed the shift. When she visited one afternoon, she found Amara surrounded by makeup brushes, half-eaten food, and open delivery boxes. "You need a break," Ngozi said softly. "You look exhausted." Amara shook her head, eyes fixed on her phone. "If I stop, they'll forget me. They already think I'm not good enough." Ngozi frowned. "But who are they? These people don't even know you." Amara looked up, her face pale. "They know who I am online, and that's all that matters." That night, when the lights went out, Amara sat in front of her mirror. For the first time in months, she didn't wear makeup. She didn't pose. She just looked. The reflection staring back at her was not the glowing, confident woman her followers adored. This version had tired eyes and hollow cheeks. She looked older, heavier with worry. "Who am I if they stop liking me?" she whispered. But there was no sound, no voice to answer her. Her phone buzzed again, a new notification. She glanced at it and saw another hurtful comment. "You're not real," it said. She dropped the phone on her bed, her hands trembling. For the first time, the thought of quitting crossed her mind. But then she remembered the sponsors waiting for her next post, the fans who still called her Amara the Bright. "They need me," she said to herself, though the words sounded weak. The next morning, she forced a smile, dressed up, and went to shoot another video. But even as she posed, her energy was gone. Her laugh didn't sound like laughter anymore. It was just noise for the camera. When Tund, the photographer, looked at the pictures later, he sighed. "These don't look like you," he said. "You're there, but your light isn't." Amara stared at the screen. "I don't understand," she said. "I'm doing everything right. Why don't people love me like before?" Tund looked at her kindly. "Maybe because they loved the you that was real. And now, you only show what they want to see." That night, Amara lay awake, scrolling endlessly through her own feed. Each photo looked perfect, but each one felt fake. The smiles, the outfits, the captions, all of it built to please strangers who never truly saw her. She thought about the old days before the fame, when she'd laugh freely with Ngozi under the mango tree, wearing simple clothes, no makeup, no camera. Back then she didn't need approval to feel alive. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "Maybe I lost myself trying to be someone else." Her phone lit up again, another notification. But this time she didn't check it. She turned it over, lay down, and stared at the ceiling. The silence in the room was heavy, but it was real. Outside, the city lights flickered through her window, bright, dazzling, and distant. Just like her. The sun had barely risen when Amara opened her eyes to the sound of her alarm. Her hand reached for her phone automatically as it always did. But when she tapped on her social media app, the screen froze. She frowned and tried again. Then again. Nothing. A message flashed on the screen, "Account not found." Her heart stopped. She tried refreshing, logging in, restarting her phone, but the result was the same. Her page was gone. The photos, the videos, the comments, the followers, everything she had built over 3 long years had disappeared in a single night. Amara's hands began to shake. No, this can't be happening," she whispered. She searched frantically for help, tutorials, contacts, recovery links, but none worked. By the time the sun climbed higher, tears had begun to fall freely. The room that once buzzed with notifications now felt painfully silent. She sat on her bed, phone in hand, staring at the blank screen. Her chest tightened as if something inside her was breaking apart. "All my work," she muttered. "Everything I did, it's gone." For the rest of the morning she sat in the same place. She didn't eat. She didn't move. Every now and then she'd pick up her phone again, hoping it was all just a mistake, that maybe her account would appear again. But it never did. When evening came, her friend Ngozi knocked on the door. "Amara?" she called softly. There was no answer. Ngozi opened the door and saw her sitting by the window, her face pale, her phone still in her hand. Without a word, Ngozi placed a small bowl of jollof rice beside her and sat down. For a while they both stayed silent. The hum of the city outside filled the room, cars passing, distant laughter, the call of a hawker. Life went on even though Amara felt like hers had stopped. Finally Ngozi spoke. "You haven't eaten all day." Amara shook her head. I can't. It's like, I don't exist anymore. Ngozi looked at her with gentle eyes. You're still here, Amara? You've just forgotten what it means to be. Amara turned slowly toward her friend. But that account, it was me. Everything I worked for, it was there. No, Ngozi said firmly but softly. That was a part of you. A shiny part that the world saw. But the real you, the one who used to laugh without posing, who used to draw, who loved helping others, that one still exists. You just stopped seeing her. Amara blinked back tears. I gave everything for it. My time, my peace, my sleep. And for what? It's gone like it never mattered. Ngozi took her hand. You gave so much of yourself to strangers that you forgot who you were. You don't need followers to have worth. You were Amara before the fame. You can be her again. For a long moment, Amara said nothing. But slowly the words began to sink in. She looked around the room, the bright lights, the half-open ring light, the mirror crowded with makeup. All of it now seemed strange. Almost empty. Later that night she stood by her window. The sky was dark but peaceful and a soft breeze brushed her face. It was the first time in months she had opened that window without thinking about lighting or angles. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The air smelled of rain and earth, simple, real, grounding. She smiled faintly. For the first time she wasn't thinking about likes or comments. She was just feeling. The wind against her skin, the hum of the night, the sound of her own heartbeat, all reminders that she was still alive, still human. She walked to her table, picked up a notebook she hadn't opened in years and began to write. I wanted to be seen. But now I want to be understood. Her handwriting was shaky, but her words were honest. She kept writing, about her fears, her hopes, the emptiness of fame and the quiet beauty of starting over. The next morning she took a walk outside. People passed her by, some recognized her, some didn't. A few whispered, "Isn't that the girl who lost her account?" But she didn't care. For the first time she didn't feel the need to explain herself. She smiled at an old woman selling oranges and helped a small boy pick up his fallen books. Those simple acts filled her heart in ways numbers on a screen never had. Later that day, Ngozi found her sitting under the same mango tree they used to sit beneath as children. You look peaceful, she said with a smile. Amara nodded. Maybe this was what I needed. Maybe losing it all was how I could find myself again. Ngozi chuckled softly. So what now? Will you start over? Amara thought for a moment. Maybe, she said, but not like before. This time I'll share truth, not perfection. She leaned back, watching the sunlight dance through the leaves. For the first time in a long time she felt light, not the kind that came from a camera flash, but the kind that came from within. That night, when she returned home, her phone lay untouched on the table. She opened the window again, feeling the cool air touch her skin. It felt like the world had paused just for her. The silence no longer scared her. It comforted her. She smiled, whispered a small prayer of thanks and said to herself, This is real. Months passed and life began to move with a slower, gentler rhythm. Amara no longer woke up to the rush of notifications or the pressure of being seen. Instead, she spent her mornings watching the sunrise through her window, sipping tea, and smiling at the quietness that once used to scare her. After some time she decided to return to the online world, but not in the same way as before. This time she opened a new page with no fancy name, no bright slogans, just her real self. She wrote her first post simply. This is not about perfection. This is about people, their stories, their hearts, and their hope. At first only a few people followed her. But Amara didn't mind. She visited small markets and spoke with women who sold fruits under the hot sun. She listened to young men who worked hard to pay for school. She wrote about their dreams, their laughter, their challenges, and their strength. Her pictures changed too. No filters, no lights, no polished edits. Just real faces, real places, and real stories. People began to notice. Who is this girl who writes with such heart? They asked. Her words feel like home. Slowly her page began to grow again. Not with thousands of empty likes, but with people who truly cared. Her followers shared their own experiences, and soon her page became a place of comfort, a place where honesty lived. One afternoon, as Amara sat at a cafe typing a new post, Ngozi joined her. She placed a drink on the table and smiled. You have become an influencer again, she said teasingly. Amara laughed softly. Maybe, she replied, but this time it feels different. Ngozi nodded. Yes. This time you are influencing hearts, not just eyes. They both smiled and watched the people passing by, some tired, some happy, all carrying stories of their own. Amara realized how much she had changed. Fame no longer tempted her. She didn't crave attention or approval. What mattered to her now was connection, the quiet, honest kind that could touch someone's spirit without needing applause. That evening, Amara visited a small school nearby. The students had invited her to talk about her journey. She stood before them, no makeup, no stage lights, just her voice and her truth. When I started, she told them, I thought being an influencer meant being perfect, looking beautiful, wearing nice clothes, living a big life. But perfection is a cage. It traps your joy. It makes you forget that being real is what truly connects us. The children listened closely. A little girl raised her hand and asked, So what does it mean to be an influencer? Amara smiled gently. It means to influence with kindness, she said. To share truth, to make people feel seen and loved, even when you are not perfect yourself. The hall filled with applause. Some of the teachers had tears in their eyes. Amara felt warmth rise in her chest, not pride but peace. For the first time, her words felt like they truly mattered. After the talk, a young boy walked up to her. Your story helped me, he said shyly. People laugh at me because I sell bread after school, but I'll keep going. One day I'll tell my own story too. Amara smiled and touched his shoulder gently. Good, she said. Never be ashamed of your journey. Every step, even the hard ones, leads to something beautiful. That night as she walked home, the city lights sparkled around her. But this time she didn't see them as signs of fame. She saw them as stories, each light representing someone trying their best to shine in their own way. When she reached home, she sat at her desk and opened her journal. Her words flowed easily, full of gratitude and calm. I once thought the world only saw me through my pictures. Now I know that true influence begins when you see others, really see them. She closed the journal and looked out the window. The moon hung softly in the sky, washing the city in silver light. In that moment, she realized she had found what she had always been chasing. Not followers, not fame, but meaning. Her heart was light, her spirit free. And whenever anyone asked about her journey, how she became the woman she was, Amara would smile and say, If only I had known what it truly takes to be an influencer, I would have started with my heart, not my phone. Then she would laugh softly, the kind of laugh that came not from pride but from peace. The peace of someone who finally knew herself and no longer needed the world to tell her who to be.